having us. I'm Glenn Diehl with Skyline Genesis Event Marketing. Who won the Super Bowl this year?
Seattle.
All right, how do we know that?
It's hard to ignore it.
Because they kept score. The two teams didn't go up and say, let's just play, let's throw the ball around a little while. It'll be fun. They said, no, we're going to keep score, and at the end, somebody will win. That's what we're talking about this morning, is those that measure will see an increase in their budget year over year. The idea is measuring your results is set up by what you decide you're going to measure ahead of time. How are you going to keep score to say this was well worth our time, our money, our effort being at the WEXPO this year? Right? Otherwise, you'll just say, well, I met some nice people, it was good, I got a bowl full of business cards. Right? There are other ways to keep track and to determine whether or not you're successful. So the idea is knowing what you're going to measure, because then you can compare that to other marketing methods that you're using. Right? And determine in your marketing budget year over year what you're going to ascribe to doing face-to-face events. We think that if you go to the right events, like a WEXPO, with a great plan, it can be the best marketing dollars that you spend. But if you're not measuring your results, then you're just going on your feelings. You're going on the anecdotes of other people that were there. The food was good. The people were nice. You need more hard facts to make your decisions on. So 52% will see an increase to their budget year over year if they walk in and say, here's how many leads we got, and here's how many converted to sales, as opposed to 33% that say, oh yeah, I had a nice time. I got a nice free pen. All right, that's not a good enough reason for increasing your budget year over year. So, what do we measure? Well, there's a couple of different things you can measure. The easiest thing is your cost per lead. How many leads did we get? Divided by what did it cost us to be there? Not rocket science, right? It's simple division. If you're going to track those leads to sales over time, every 30 days, every 90 days, go to your sales group and say, I gave you 10 leads from the WEXPO. How many of those converted to sales? Right? And if you track that over time, you'll begin to hang a number on your revenue ROI. Brand awareness is a little harder to measure. Prior to the event, send out a survey to the people that you think might be there and say, hey, what do you think about our company? What's your perception of who we are and how we do business? And then if you meet them at the event, survey them afterwards and see if you move the needle. You met our team, you saw our products and services. How do you think about us now? So using a survey is a little more work, but it gives you another touch point, another opportunity to gather important information from somebody. Maybe it's demonstrations. Maybe you've got a software product. We have a customer that gives out cheese at the fancy food show. All right, they're a cheese merchant. They count how many pounds of cheese they give out. Right, that's what they measure, because it's all about putting the product in people's hands or in their mouths. And that's how they determine whether or not, in part, the show is successful. We gave out a lot of samples. If you've got a software program, how many people came up and tickled the keyboard or moved the mouse or interacted with your software? Maybe you'll just count demonstrations, because you're not gathering leads. You're there to give people an experience. Press, PR. This was mentioned before. Did we get the notoriety that we were looking for? Just a quick anecdote. We do the exhibits for Lionsgate Films at Comic-Con every year. Crazy show, right? You're not getting leads at a consumer show like that, but you're all about creating buzz. So they do promotions in their event, and the way they measure their effectiveness is each day, are they getting notoriety in the social media platforms? They have a team that just measures the buzz that's created in social media from day to day based on their promotions, the talent that they have, or the interactive things that they do. So you have to look at this list and decide what is meaningful to me to measure, and then put things in place to do so. Again, it's not rocket science, but if you don't do it, then you're left with a very subjective call as to whether or not you were successful. So then the question is, am I at the right show? So if you know what you're going to measure, then am I attracting the right profile of audience? This is a B2B show. It's an excellent show for businesses in the B2B community like we are. It's not a consumer show. So the profile of the people that you're looking for are in the room for you. Right? So based on that, you can say, this is well worth the time, the money, the effort to be here. You can apply the same principle to other face-to-face events that you're doing. It's a simple question to ask, but are the right people there that you want to meet? And then managing your leads, we call this the currency of trade shows. You know, the paper leads that you get, if you keep them, it costs money to generate them, but they turn into money if you invest them well. So I'd like to take a lead form and print a $20 bill on the back of it. You'd treat it differently if you saw it that way. That's really what a lead is from a trade show. It is money waiting to be made if you handle it correctly. It's the bridge between what happens on the show floor and the recipient afterwards. So if I'm working your booth for you and I'm gathering the information in a proper format and then I hand it to you afterwards, now you've got meaningful information in a standardized format that you can follow up on rather than, you know, just an anecdote from me. Oh, I met a girl, I met a guy at the show, you know, you should call them. Or just getting a business card out of the fishbowl. All right, what does that mean? So if there's not room on there to write everything with the Sharpie that you want to write on the back of the business card, you can develop a customized lead form. I'd be happy to help you do that if you want, but we highly recommend that you develop your own lead form with the questions on it that you want to make sure you ask everybody. That you've got, and this now standardizes the way that you gather information and then the way that you're able to pass on that information to the rest of your sales team. They're getting it in a standardized format. 79% of leads are never followed up on. Actually, 83.4% of statistics are all made up on the spot, right? So anyway, why are leads never followed up on? Because the person getting the lead, getting the business card in the fishbowl say, I already know all this. They've been in my database for years. You're giving me the information I already know. They don't place a high value on it. But if you're getting a lead and it has on there strategic, tactical, critical information that will either initiate or accelerate the buy-sell process, there's real value to that. If you walk up to me at a show and you say, I need 20 pop-up exhibits and I need them in 2 weeks, do I take that lead and throw that in the fishbowl? Absolutely not. That goes in the pocket right next to my heart where it belongs. That's called a hot lead. You need to do the same thing with every lead that you have, is to put a value to it so that you know how to follow up on it afterwards. So the action steps, you walk away from this, customize your lead form. Again, if you want help doing that, Will Michaels is here. I'll be available. You can reach me. And we want to help you write your own lead form. Again, it's not rocket science, but there is a way to do it that makes sense, that helps you and your team perform well at the show. I absolutely agree with you have to put your best foot forward on the show floor. People are making judgments about you and your company on how you conduct yourself, how you look, how you stand, how you interact with the public. This is another way to elevate the professional level by having a standardized list of questions. If you're just having conversation, you're just having conversation. If all of a sudden you pull out a lead form and say, can I take a few notes? People will start giving you much better information. Right, it's a way to guide and direct the exchange of meaningful information between you and the attendee. Rate every lead. Okay, at the bottom of the lead form, do it hot, warm, cold, dead, A, B, C, whatever you want. Don't rate them while they're there. Oh, you're a D lead. Thank you. You get no pen. There's no candy. Just move along, No, you rate them after they leave, okay? Follow up in a timely manner. We absolutely agree. The rule of thumb is the first person that follows up on the lead is the one that gets the order. And if you've ever had the experience of finally getting to the bottom of the shopping bag, 6 weeks after the show, and pulling out the leads and starting your telemarketing, and you say, hi, we saw you at the show 6 weeks ago, and they say, I just bought from your competitor last week. You go, "Gah, why did I do that?" Well, you're right. The window of time to follow up on a lead is within 7 to 10 business days after the show. I don't know about you, I'm over 50. 3 weeks after the show, I'll forget I was at WEXPO, all right? My sweet spot is 2 weeks within the show. Call me in that time, I'll probably remember I was there, probably remember what we talked about, and then maybe we can do business together. And finally, to track your ROI over time, right? Just don't walk away the week after and say, yeah, I was there, I think it was worthwhile. No, you want to track this in months, in quarters, and certainly year over year, and event to event, so that you'll find out next year when you're signing up for the WEXPO, last year we got X number of leads, resulted in X number of sales. I'm definitely going back, and I'm going to take a double booth next year.